This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. Brittany is away. A powerful animal sedative has been detected in Manitoba's drug supply for the first time. There have been local drug alerts and warnings. Now, Manitoba RCMP have arrested a 35-year-old man after a 3-month investigation. CBC's Rosanna Hempel brings us more.
RCMP display cash, cocaine, marijuana, and pills containing both heroin and the animal sedative medetomidine, all seized from 2 homes in the Amber Gates neighborhood of Winnipeg in early February.
This mix creates a potent and dangerous drug combination that increased risks to users.
The drug bust was part of a 3-month investigation Mounties call Project Deepwater. Police in Selkirk and Winnipeg were also involved. Medetomidine was first detected in Canada's drug supply in 2021. RCMP Superintendent Jeff Asmundson says this is the first time it's been identified in Manitoba's supply.
Our concern is that people on the street are going to be using these drugs that are being disguised as legitimate drugs or prescription drugs, and our concern is that somebody's going to overdose and die.
He says the bust is linked to recent public health alerts about medetomidine in Winnipeg that warn naloxone can't help against it because it's not an opioid. Medetomidine is an animal tranquilizer not approved for human use. It can cause deep, prolonged sedation, a quick and severe drop in a person's heart rate, and slowed breathing. Sunshine House operates a mobile overdose prevention site in the city. They're among a few organizations offering specialized test strips for medetomidine, also known as MTD. Caleb Clay is the manager at the site.
It's scary and it's dangerous, and that's why we offer testing, is to make it less scary and less dangerous for folks. So I just really encourage people to get connected with a local organization to get some testing supplies and be safe and be careful.
A 35-year-old man has been charged with 2 counts of possession for the purpose of trafficking and possessing proceeds of crime over $5,000. Police say it's unclear if more arrests are coming. Rosanna Hempel, CBC News, Winnipeg.
It's been more than a week since the U.S. and Israel launched an attack on Iran, killing Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Sunday, a group of Iranians living in Winnipeg rallied in support of the attacks, which they believe will lead to democracy. But some are uncertain about how long the conflict will last and what the impact of foreign interference will be in the long run. CBC's Mike Arsenault has the story.
USA, Israel, continue, thank you.
Iranian flags waved in the air as chants rang out. The second celebration in downtown Winnipeg since the war began.
USA, Israel, continue.
Still celebrating the joint attack launched by the U.S. and Israel that killed Iran's supreme leader. Ramtin Tamouri says war was the last option.
I'm in contact with people, friends, family inside Iran, and they're not people who wanted war, but they think that the regime has to go. There needs to be a transition to democracy.
Last week, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who ruled Iran for 36 years, was killed in airstrikes. Protesters say they support the foreign intervention. As the war continues, there is uncertainty about the future of Iran. Saeed Ghavami says he's not deterred.
Optimism has been increased. All people in Iran are happy from this attack of Israel and the U.S., and they are very hopeful for the future.
Israel and the United States continued to hit Iran with military strikes over the weekend, while Iran launched more retaliatory attacks on Israeli and U.S. bases. More than 1,300 people have been killed in Iran since the conflict started. Majid Kermani, an Iranian Manitoban living in Selkirk, doesn't support the foreign interference from the U.S. and Israel.
Military intervention can make good results with minimum casualties and minimum damages for the country. So far, it has not been that way, and that's why I'm a little worried about the fate of this war.
Kermani believes the Iranian people have the potential to change this regime without foreign interference. Taimouri says he still supports the military intervention despite cries it violates international law.
I understand that, people talk about violating sovereignty, and I understand that. And I know that, again, foreign policy isn't charity. We are aware of that. But this is a regime that violated all basic rights of its own citizens, international law as well.
Iran has chosen Mojtaba Khamenei, son of Ali Khamenei, to be Iran's new supreme leader. Aid agencies are warning of a humanitarian crisis as other regions become involved in the conflict. Mike Arsenault, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Manitoba farmers are seeing a spike in fertilizer prices. Those costs are being driven by the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran, creating supply chain issues cutting into the global supply. CBC's Chelsea Kemp reports.
Fertilizer prices are surging globally. Those costs are driven by the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran. The conflict has blocked key exports like nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur through the Strait of Hormuz, key ingredients for fertilizer. And for farmers who haven't locked in their fertilizer for seeding, that means a price jump. Farmer Carl Stewart says he's fortunate. He bought his before the price spike. He wants to see the strait opened as soon as possible to help with overall farming costs.
I mean, it's worse if you're further east there, but needless to say, there's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of price risk out there, that's for sure.
In a statement to CBC, Fertilizer Canada says the conflict's impact on fertilizer production are being felt around the world. Fertilizer Canada says farmers are encouraged to consult their local agricultural retailers for the most up-to-date information on fertilizer supply in their area. MNP's Stuart Pearson agrees. He recommends farmers work with agronomists to prevent overuse. Pearson says soaring fertilizer and fuel prices are a recipe for a disappointing year.
Spike in wheat, canola, corn, soybeans, the major crops, that may offset some of these fertilizer or these input cost spikes. But if we don't get that spike in prices, it's going to be a tough year.
Keystone Agricultural Producers President Jill Verwey says costs add up quickly as fertilizer plays a direct role in crop yield.
And you aim to use all the fertilizer that you apply. That's the goal, and so certainly it does represent a huge portion of what your cost is for the crop.
Meanwhile, Stewart warns Canada needs to build stronger infrastructure, working to prevent local rail and port disruptions, so the country can better pivot during these events.
We need to be a little bit more forward thinking so that when things get back to normal, that they try and stay as consistent as possible, because this affects every single person in Canada.
Experts warn high prices are likely to stick around, even if the war ends within a few weeks, as predicted by U.S. President Donald Trump. For farmers, that means watching closely as each day chips away at their bottom line. Chelsea Kemp, CBC News, Brandon.
Concerns are growing in Winnipeg's Jewish community after 3 synagogues in Toronto were shot at in the past week. The shootings happened in North York and Vaughan, according to police there. No one was injured and no suspects have been identified. The executive director of the Jewish Heritage Centre of Western Canada says it's becoming more dangerous for Jews here at home and abroad.
We've moved from protests and words to violence. And one of those synagogues, I understand the shooting took place just after the celebration in the synagogue of the Jewish holiday of Purim. And so had it, taken place, I think it was an hour and 45 minutes earlier, there could have been people that hurt or killed.
Winnipeg police are increasing patrols at local synagogues and Jewish institutions. They say the incidents in the GTA are deeply concerning, calling on Winnipeggers to come forward if they see anything suspicious. CBC meteorologist Colette Kennedy is here now with a look at your forecast. Hi, Colette.
Thanks, Marjorie. Oh boy, something to get used to. Not just the clocks, but I'm talking about the change in conditions too, with the milder air on the weekend and then kind of bookending it with some freezing rain, ice pellets, a little bit of light snow, and then the cooler temperatures from this morning. Those readings, yeah, pretty close to seasonal, with Winnipeg at -14. Normal low at this time of year is -13. So there we are, and ridge of high pressure is in place. So at least we'll have mostly clear to partly cloudy skies through the overnight, so no active weather to contend with. But tomorrow we'll see some increasing cloudiness. So I'll break it down for you like this. -19, a chilly overnight tonight, feeling like -26. And then by about 7 a.m. we'll be at -17. Variable skies to some extent as those clouds build in, and just giving us a slim chance for some flurries into the afternoon, but almost seasonal with that daytime high of -4. As for where the temperatures are going after that, I got more on all of that coming up.
All right. Thank you very much, Colette. Babies too young for vaccinations are being exposed to measles in Manitoba, and that has health officials worried. We'll have more coming up after the break. You're watching CBC Winnipeg News.
This is Manitoba. And this is Manitoba on your smart TV, because CBC News is now streaming local. Local news and weather on your connected TV or favorite device. CBC News Manitoba, streaming now.
Every week, babies exposed to measles are being rushed to Manitoba hospitals for a preventative treatment. Manitoba has become a hotspot for measles in Canada. CBC's Ian Fraze now on what families and hospitals are trying to do to stop the spread.
Babies too young to be vaccinated against measles have an option if they're exposed. It's a preventive treatment called immune globulin. It gets injected into a baby's muscle or through a vein.
At least every week, get informed about a family where, this type of situation's occurred.
It's happening in Southern Health, which has had the majority of Manitoba's measles cases. Dr. Devinder Singh says the parents taking their babies in for treatment are worried.
Everyone in the family might have been immunized, but, you can't give a measles vaccine to an infant under the age of 6 months.
The frequency of this treatment, a sign that measles is spreading. Manitoba is the country's hotspot for the disease.
None of this would be happening if, we had maintained the same high levels of immunization that previously existed in Manitoba.
Manitoba hospitals are taking precautions. The neonatal intensive care unit at HSC for premature or sick newborns is limiting visitors, while healthcare workers in areas with vulnerable patients are screening for symptoms about a disease that was once eradicated.
Most of our staff until recently had never seen a case of measles and didn't necessarily know the symptoms.
Dr. Philippe Legacy-Wien says hospitals aren't screening visitors the way they did during COVID. But he says with no measles outbreaks in hospitals, it's not needed. He says the vaccine is highly effective. Ian Fraze, CBC News, Winnipeg.
The second phase of the public inquiry into Winnipeg's police headquarters is underway. This phase is called the Money Trail. And as CBC's Bartley Kivas reports, the inquiry was told the main contractor on the construction project was paid tens of millions of dollars for work that wasn't done.
The second phase of the police headquarters inquiry looks at what Caspian Construction charged the city for work on the redevelopment compared to the work it actually did. Forensic accountant Victor Neufeld testified he spent thousands of hours over 6 years sifting through Caspian invoices. He said Caspian inflated some invoices, submitted invoices for work it didn't do, invoiced for some work that wasn't even related to the HQ, and assigned some invoices to subtrades that didn't actually do the work.
Ultimately, I describe all of these concerns as multiple material financial misrepresentations.
Neufeld said, in his professional opinion, Caspian made $45 million to $50 million worth of excess claims, meaning it was paid for up to $50 million more work than it actually did, either on its own or through subtrades. Neufeld held up a subtrade called Fabka as an example, noting Caspian submitted Fabka invoices for more than $24.5 million related to $5.5 million of actual work. Neufeld also described what he called flow-through checks, 15 instances of Caspian paying Fabka and then Fabka paying the same amount to a company controlled by Caspian. Lawyers for Fabka and Caspian objected to Neufeld's presentation, with Caspian's lawyer pointing out Neufeld used to work for the city on this file.
An expert that appears almost entirely on behalf of one type of client has been used as a basis for showing bias.
The RCMP spent 5 years investigating the police HQ without laying any charges. Then the city sued Caspian and other defendants who agreed to settle for up to $28 million. Bartley Kivas, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A two-vehicle crash this morning has claimed the life of one person. It happened just outside Winnipeg city limits near Fermor and the Perimeter Highway. Meantime, another crash has claimed the lives of two men from Winkler. RCMP say it happened Friday evening at Highway 428 and Road 19 north in the Arm of Roland. Police say two trucks had stopped on the southbound lane to help a driver whose car was in the ditch. That's when a 17-year-old woman didn't recognize the trucks had stopped in time. The vehicle swerved to miss the truck in her lane, clipping one of the stopped trucks, going off the highway to hit the back of the car in the ditch. The two men standing in the ditch, a 44-year-old and a 73-year-old, were hit and died of their injuries. RCMP say road conditions were icy at the time of the crash. Women workers in Manitoba will soon have free access to menstrual products. Starting in August, the province will require provincially regulated employers to provide pads and tampons in the workplace at no cost. Labour Minister Malaya Marcelino says they are basic necessities. She says providing menstrual products in workplaces isn't an expensive change.
This affects 50% of all Manitobans, and it's making sure that we all have the dignity at work that we deserve for the necessities of life that we have.
Federal estimates suggest the annual cost ranges from $10 to $25 per employee who menstruates, with initial dispenser and disposal container costs ranging from $20 to $300. Meteorologist Colette Kennedy joins us once again. Colette, we jumped ahead an hour and I'm still adjusting.
Thanks, Marjorie. Yeah, it's, takes some getting used to, right? Not just the clocks changing, that's always troublesome. But when we try and find the silver lining in here, hey, we get more daylight into the evening hours. And so our sunset tomorrow, how about 7:25? And our day's getting longer too, right? So hours of daylight, looking at tomorrow, more than 11 and a half hours that we'll get to enjoy. Temperatures this afternoon, I know, a far cry from where they were on the weekend. So some much cooler air in place, well below seasonal. In fact, pretty dominant ridge of high pressure. And with that, it does bring the positive that there's not much active weather here. And in fact, it kind of protects us from the system to the south, and it pushes that and keeps that southward. And even the systems trying to move in from the western prairies and come our way tend to weaken. Not a lot of precipitable moisture here, a little bit north of the Inner Lakes region for tomorrow morning. We have sunshine through the Red River Valley, at least through a good chunk of the day. And then we'll have variable skies and kind of increasing cloudiness towards the afternoon, with the chance of a few scattered flurries even pushing eastward into our skies as the day wears on. And then midweek, kind of the next round of high pressure building down. It does keep things on the very cold side, though, with some extreme cold warnings a little bit further north in the province. So minus 16 by about 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, and then by noon we're at minus 9. I know, still wind chill in the minus mid-teens, but by the time we get to 4 p.m., even with that increasing cloudiness, we're pretty close to seasonal at minus 4. Normal daytime high at this time of year is minus 3. So, all right, we'll call it close. And then as we check out your 5-day forecast and where our temperatures are going, they do come back up a little bit, not above freezing, but close by the time we get to Thursday. But it comes with the risk of some scattered flurries to a little bit of light snowfall. However, look beyond that into next weekend with these longer days that we're getting in terms of daylight, and we do have some sunshine Friday in there, but into the weekend, even if there's a slim chance for a few flurries into Saturday as well. So all in all, not a bad forecast if you can stand that it is a little bit on the cool side.
Thank you very much, Colette. Looking now at Assiniboine Park, where these wintry scenes will soon turn to spring. Well, we hope. We have much more ahead. Stay with us.
These days, a lot of us live in echo chambers. We read different news, follow different people, and slowly stop talking to anyone who disagrees with us. Manitoba Talks is about changing that. It's based on a project called My Country Talks, where more than 100,000 people around the world have already sat down for real conversations with someone who has very different political views. Here's how it works. You'll see a single yes/no question in one of our stories. You answer it, and then another 9 questions pop up. That's it, no long surveys. Behind the scenes, your answers get fed into our matching software that connects Manitobans with different viewpoints. You can think of it as Tinder for opposite opinions, political beliefs, but not for dating, just for talking. The goal is simple, not to argue, not to win, not to change anyone's mind, just to have a real human conversation. Your answers and your conversations are private. They're only used to help us find a good match. At a time when politics feels loud and divided, when some people feel isolated, Manitoba Talks is about doing something very simple and very rare, sitting down with someone different. Manitoba Talks. Start the conversation.
Manitoba's opposition is once again raising concerns about the opening of a supervised consumption site. The NDP government says one will open on Henry Avenue within weeks. Today, the Tory leader questioned the health minister about whether people under 16 would be able to access the site. CBC's Josh Crabb joins us now live in the newsroom. Josh, what were the Tories basing these questions on?
Marjorie, the PCs tabled intake forms that were obtained through an access to information request. The forms ask people what drugs they plan to use and if they're going to smoke, snort, or inject. They also ask people if they are pregnant, a first-time user, or a youth. Opposition leader Abi Khan also pointed to a document which states people won't be required to show identification and staff won't contact a family member due to confidentiality. He has concerns this could put youth at risk.
We want recovery. We don't want spaces where people can go and take drugs or consume drugs.
But Addictions Minister Bernadette Smith told reporters minors will not be able to do drugs at the supervised consumption site. Smith says if they show up at the site, they'll be connected by staff to the appropriate supports.
And then if minors do come there, they will be referred to different resources, because that's obviously not the appropriate resource, a supervised consumption site.
The intake forms also ask people if they want treatment. Smith says the site will open within weeks, but the minister wouldn't guarantee it'll open before April.
Now, Josh, the NDP also introduced legislation which aims to improve patient care.
That's right, Marjorie. Health Minister Uzoma Asseguera tabled Bill 27, the Declaration of Principles for Patient Healthcare Act. Now, part of the legislation would create an Office of Patient Advocacy within the Health Department. It would also require each health authority and healthcare delivery organization to designate patient advocacy officers. Asseguera says there are already patient liaisons in place, but this bill better defines their roles.
So this legislation gives them a new title. It makes very clear what it is that they're meant to do in terms of providing services to Manitobans.
The bill also empowers the health minister to share information and reports from critical incidents across all health regions. The minister says this would help everyone learn from them and prevent them from happening again. Marjorie.
Thank you very much, Josh. Thank you. That is CBC's Josh Crabb reporting live tonight. The use of body cameras on Winnipeg police officers is being welcomed by many community members. The city's police chief says dozens of officers will be equipped with the cameras as part of a pilot project to launch this summer. As CBC's Gavin Axelrod reports, some hope it will bolster accountability and police transparency.
James Wood died after an interaction with police in January 2024. Witnesses who shared video with CBC News at the time said they felt officers used excessive force. Hilda Anderson Piers is Wood's aunt and is part of the coalition of families affected by police violence. She says body camera footage could have helped in the investigation into his death by the province's independent police watchdog.
I think it would have been critical because there would have been evidence, on how the police responded, evidence on police conduct.
On Friday, Police Chief Gene Bauer said the service will start testing body cameras in June. About 40 frontline officers will be outfitted with the devices. The company that makes the cameras isn't charging the police to use them during the pilot.
Sometimes the video you do see, if it's from a building or whatnot, doesn't really give you the full perspective, or it's a video that isn't showing the full interaction. So I think it's about accountability and transparency.
Anderson Pierce says the initiative is a good first step, but hopes the WPS eventually go further.
Every police officer should be wearing a police cam, and it has to be, adopted wholly by the police.
Jean-René Dominique Quilou is a lawyer for Afolabi Opaso's family. The international student was having a mental health crisis when he was shot and killed by police on December 31st, 2023. An investigation done by Alberta's Serious Incident Response Team said there were no reasonable grounds to charge the officer who shot him. Quilou says body camera footage may have better helped piece together the incident.
To see what actually happened. Was it a legitimate use of force? Was it an unfortunate, or was it an illegitimate use of force? So I think that's mainly the benefit of wearing a body camera, so there's no differing narrative.
Bauer says the goal of the cameras will be to see how they can be used in investigations and court, but he couldn't say yet what a full-blown rollout would cost. Gavin Axelrod, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Some big projects in northern Manitoba are getting off the ground thanks to an injection of cash from the province. It includes the rebuilding of a former landmark and a new pool. CBC's Eric Westhaver now with more on how these projects are coming to life.
There's not much going on at this vacant lot in the Paw, but that could soon change. Millions in project funding for 2 northern communities is coming through Manitoba's Grow Fund. The Paw has received $3.8 million, and some of it is being used here.
Super proud of our community, super proud of our administration for, getting us to the finish line on those grants.
That lot was once the site of the Lido Theatre. It was an institution for almost a century before a fire destroyed it in 2024. Where the theater once stood, there will be a new arts and culture center, with $2.5 million going toward the rebuild. A new running track and facilities are also coming next to the town's arena. That will cost $1.3 million. Mayor Andre Murphy says he hopes both projects can rejuvenate the Paw.
I mean, those are 2 projects that are really gonna, move our community forward, and it's well welcomed.
Over in Flin Flon, they're building a new community pool, and grant money will help pay off construction debt. Another $500,000 will go towards its own arts and culture center. Mayor George Fontaine said the pool is the city's biggest recent project.
But it's a $2.4 million addition to the money that we had coming in to help us reduce our debt on this building. So where we thought we might have to carry $9 million in debt, we're down to below 7. And if we can do any more fundraising, then we'll try and lower that too.
Years of applications go into the grants. Murphy said the goal is to provide more things for Northerners to do.
It's time for a refreshing and a renewal. They haven't really been much done in the last 20 years. The money is welcomed for sure.
The pool in Flin Flon is months away from opening, but the rest of the projects are still in the planning stages. Local leaders say they plan to pursue more projects getting done with more provincial grant money. Eric Westhaver, CBC News, Flin Flon.
A new tuition scam has left a Vancouver woman with $37,000 in fraudulent charges. But she says she received no help from her bank, police, or the university until the CBC's Go Public team got involved. Erica Johnson has the story.
$2,798.25. Mira Burgess counts the charges made to her credit and debit cards, totaling more than $37,000, all of them fraudulent. Hello? It all started last fall when she got a call she thought was from TD Bank's fraud department. A A scammer told her to open her banking app, share one-time passcodes to reverse fraudulent charges. Problem is, she was unknowingly approving them. The next day, it twigged.
Went into like a full panic, very emotional. I couldn't believe I just got scammed.
Go Public has learned Burgess was part of a new scam popping up across the country. Fraudsters promise students a break on tuition in exchange for an upfront payment. Then they pay the school using credit and debit cards stolen from people like Burgess. The payments were made to a local private university, but TD told her it couldn't do a chargeback because she gave out passcodes.
They just put the blame and they don't even try to help.
She asked the school to give the money back. It said TD had to ask for a chargeback. Vancouver police said investigations like this are difficult to prosecute, told her to go back to the bank.
So it leaves me in this circle of frustration.
Burgess appealed TD's decision, but it still blamed her.
Seems like an unreasonable position for the bank to have taken in circumstances when they confirmed that she was a victim.
In Ottawa recently, some MPs recommended new legislation to make the banks more responsible for fraud.
We need to have a proper reimbursement process that is a cost of doing business, and I think we have to put that onus where it belongs, which is on the banks.
Liberal and Conservative MPs on the Federal Finance Committee voted down the proposed changes. After Go Public contacted TD about Mira Burgess, the bank said it would reimburse her $37,000, calling it a goodwill gesture. Erica Johnson, CBC News, Vancouver.
Coming up, the latest on the war in the Middle East and what the conflict means for gas prices. Stay with us. The U.S. and Israel hammered Iran with strikes on the 10th day of the Middle East conflict, while Iranian forces continue to launch attacks on Israel and U.S. bases in Gulf states. Crystal Gumansing has the latest from Jerusalem.
2 construction workers lost their lives in an industrial park near Tel Aviv. An Iranian missile struck that location, but there were several impact zones related to that one missile. Officials on the ground say it appears a cluster munition was fired.
Always the chaos, always smoke from where the rocket lands. We go from there, we triage, other organizations come as well.
The colonel for the Homefront Command who was at that location said there was an alert that went off that those who were killed did not seek shelter. Now, in terms of Israel's attacks on Iran, they continue to go after weapons supplies and launch locations. Israel Defense Forces said they launched several waves today, including attacks on Tehran, on Isfahan, and in the south of Iran. One of the locations they say they targeted and hit was an IRGC UAV headquarters. That is a strike they say is important to disable to limit the number of launches that Iran is able to undertake, hitting not only Israel, but of course its neighbors in the Gulf. Turkey today came out, the president, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, saying that he does not want to get involved in this war. But today, the second time, NATO forces intercepted a missile from Iran. That could lead to, at some point, NATO getting involved in this conflict. Of course, Turkey is a NATO member. We are also hearing from the UAE's UN envoy. He says that de-escalation is the priority, but the UAE will defend its territory.
The UAE affirms its full right to take all necessary measures to safeguard its sovereignty.
Today alone, the UAE says it detected 15 missiles. 12 were in fact intercepted. 3 landed in the sea. They say these sorts of invasions from their airspace will not be tolerated. Crystal Gumansing, CBC News, Jerusalem.
Now, as the war in the Middle East continues to rage, the price of gas is soaring. Nisha Patel looks at the problem caused by a disruption in the global oil supply and the steps being taken to deal with it.
Fresh drone strikes by Iran set Bahrain's only oil refinery on fire. There are no signs the attacks on energy infrastructure will stop, and Saudi Arabia has joined other Gulf states in cutting oil production. Crude oil prices started the day soaring 30% to almost $120 a barrel, by afternoon dropping back to about $90.
We haven't seen this type of volatility really ever. We saw it during the Gulf War in the early 90s. We saw it with COVID, and now this. This is the most volatility that we've ever really seen.
The price pullback came as G7 countries debated releasing emergency oil stockpiles to support global supply, though finance ministers didn't come to any agreement.
I want to be very clear on the fact that we are ready to take necessary and coordinated steps in order to stabilize markets.
The Strait of Hormuz, a key waterway to carry energy exports, remains shut, with Iran threatening vessels that try to pass through. There are reports some tankers have been able to make it by turning off their transponders to avoid detection. Still, the majority of shipping operators are reluctant to take the risk.
It all comes down to how long will the current full disruption of flows out of the Strait of Hormuz continue for. So every day that this lasts, we should expect, on balance, that oil inches upwards.
Shipping freight costs have quadrupled in the past week. Countries that rely heavily on energy imports are seeing shortages. Bangladesh today shut local universities and suspended bus operations to conserve fuel. And because oil is traded on the global market, gas prices in Canada have spiked dramatically.
We aren't going to go back to the levels, the $65 that we saw last month. It'll probably remain elevated throughout the driving season.
U.S. President Donald Trump says he has a plan to keep oil prices in check. And G7 energy ministers say they'll meet Tuesday morning to talk over a possible release of oil reserves. Nisha Patel, CBC News, Toronto.
Colette joins us again. Well, March is that kind of caught in between winter and spring, and we're seeing that across the country.
Thanks, Marjorie. Yeah, it's a real seesaw. I mean, as we get into March, March, April, even a portion of May, we tend to get those really wild fluctuations. So it was very mild, especially the western prairies, but even into southern Manitoba on the weekend, and then those temperatures cooled right back down for today. And the mild air now, well, that's all over towards southern and eastern Ontario and towards Quebec and on towards Atlantic Canada. So there's the up and downs, those give and takes that we have, and we don't have any control over, but also no control over this cold air that continues to saturate northern parts of the province there. So wind chills, and this is just talking about kind of from last hour or two, where we're talking minus 25 to minus 30, but overnight those dip to the minus 45 to minus 50 range, and so still that cold warning is in place and likely or quite possibly into tomorrow night as well. Now, high pressure has been keeping things relatively calm. You can see the activity just south of the border there over North Dakota, and those kind of knock up against each other. Most of that stays there. Even some of the systems trying to come in from the west, as they interact with this very strong ridge of high pressure, then they tend to weaken, and there's not much moisture in the air, in the atmosphere, so we get into a little bit of flurry activity or some light snow. That's why we'll have increasing cloudiness into tomorrow, a chance for some flurries, and then into Wednesday, we're looking at kind of a mix there too, where it's going to be clearer for the inner lakes north and then cloudier as we push southward. Those temperatures, have a look to Dooley Lake, we're talking minus 38 to minus 39 for some of the lows, so you can understand why those wind chills are so significant. And then for what's happening further south, we're not even looking at temperatures being seasonal, but now we've slid the other direction below seasonal. It does get a little bit better into tomorrow afternoon. Some of those readings close to the international border, even hovering close to the freezing mark, if not quite there. Okay, look at Luna. I love her. Robin, look at, and the markings here, almost perfect, right? From side to side in terms of what we're doing with your forecast, and where I would caution you, it's just for the early morning hours because of how chilly the temperatures will be. Robin, thank you so much for sending Luna in to us.
Thanks, Colette. The Manitoba government is appealing a court ruling that ordered it to reconsider cancelling 2 polar bear tourism permits held by Lazy Bear Expeditions near Churchill. Owner Walter Dowdrich says he thinks the decision to cancel his permits and the appeal are politically motivated. Dowdrich was running to lead the Manitoba Progressive Conservative Party when his permits were cancelled last year. He is currently seeking the Progressive Conservative nomination in the Turtle Mountain constituency.
The timing was suspect on that, and just as it was when I was running for the leadership, they made the motions to take those permits away with no notice, even though obviously those are permits that we depend on. But I believe wholeheartedly that that's the reason.
No court date has been set for the appeal to be heard. Getting their hands on a piece of sports nostalgia and history. Dozens of people attended a sports collectibles expo this weekend. As CBC's Gavin Axelrod reports, they were there to get their hands on that rare, valuable find.
Winnipeggers were on the hunt for steals, deals, and new pieces for their collections at this expo on Saturday.
My cat is named after Mike Riley.
From game-used jerseys and equipment of pro athletes to sports cards.
Every piece has some sort of story behind it.
Peter Jordan helped organize the event and says demand for sports memorabilia is growing.
I think a lot of it came with the whole COVID, and people had time to look for this stuff. And, you know, once you start seeing that you can pull a card that may draw $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, it becomes a gambling thing, and it becomes an addiction, but people are buying boxes and hoping to get that card.
Like a 9 in this would be.
Michael Hunt is with Hockey Barn and has been collecting cards for decades. He says everyone here has a love for the hobby, and it can be like the stock market for sports cards.
If you were to buy a stock for $100 and it went to $1,000, 9 times out of 10 you're selling it. Buy a card for $100, you sell it for $300, you're making 200%.
A player's performance can make the value of their cards go up or down, along with how rare it is. Some collectors also get their cards graded, certifying their condition on a scale from 1 to 10 and helping drive value. Macklin Celebrini's starring role for Canada at the Olympics in just his second season is one example.
You could buy his young gun for like $250. Now you can't get it under $1,800. for a graded one, 2,000, 2,200.
Schaefer base, rookie, young gun.
Mike Wolanski is showing off his collection of Matthew Schaefer cards. The 18-year-old has been so good in his first pro season, he almost played his way onto Canada's Olympic team. These rookie cards just came out on Wednesday.
If someone was looking to buy that right now, how much are these going for?
So these ones are going for about $450. So right off the hop, I think the first one sold on Wednesday on release day for close to $800 Canadian.
Some of the youngest collectors at this show are hoping they can hit it big. Gage Remillard is only 11.
Just trying to get some money, some stuff for maybe like save for a car when I'm older.
A big dream closer to reality, one card at a time. Gavin Axelrod, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Still ahead, Colette Kennedy is back with a last check on our forecast. Stay with us.
This is Manitoba, and this is Manitoba on your smart TV, because CBC News is now streaming local. Get local headlines, weather, and community notices, plus newscasts and live programming on your favorite connected device, all for free. It's called the CBC News Manitoba streaming channel. See your community on your connected TV and mobile devices. CBC News Manitoba, your local news streaming channel, now available.
as the crowd starts to respond. Make it go away. And there they go.
Matt Dunstow's team from Manitoba won their first Canadian men's curling championship. The team defeated four-time champion Kevin Cooey of Alberta 6-3 in Sunday's final in St. John's. This is Dunstow's third final in 4 years after losses in 2025 and 2023. Later this month, the team will represent Canada at the Men's World Championship. They also earn the right to return to next year's Brier in Saskatoon to defend their title.
Well, we have had to make a couple of changes or transitions here, right, with our clocks and also with the temperatures cooling down from the weekend. Tomorrow's daytime high almost up to seasonal, which is -3 at this time of year, -4 for that daytime high. But of course, a cold night tonight at -19. We bump that temperature up a little bit as we move towards Thursday, but it comes with a chance of some flurries or light snow. And by the way, we have that risk tomorrow afternoon for a few flurries with some increasing cloudiness, but the early part of the day is looking good. And hey, the weekend, although chilly, I'd say it's looking pretty good in terms of our sky conditions there. Sunshine, and just keeping in mind, right, that our daylight hours, our days are getting longer and longer. Marjorie.
Thanks, Colette. An international dog show in Birmingham, England has crowned its top dog of the year. The pedigreed pooch is your daily lift.
Moving to the right, is he teasing us? Oh, it is the Columbus Spaniel!
Bruin, who is 4 years old, has been titled Best in Show on the final day of Crufts. This year saw nearly 19,000 dogs compete across various categories. It is one of the largest dog shows in the world where several breeds showcase their abilities and skills. Organizers say this is the first time a Clumber Spaniel won the top title in 35 years. Congratulations. What a cutie. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Have yourselves a wonderful evening. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.